Coloring pictures was a new experience for the students' children. They also enjoyed learning new Bible songs and taking turns singing them. Buenos Aires Cattle Ranch was transformed into the Celtal Bible Center. There was housing for 16 students and their families, for the school director and the administrator, for 2 Bible translators, a medical worker, and 3 missionary families. Martin Gomez became the administrator and the teacher of carpentry. The students made the furniture for their homes. These 12 disciples are displaying the results of their labors, following a 2-week carpentry course. We even taught them how to set and sharpen a saw. At the end of a 3-month school term, the children participated in the closing service. Pastor Andres Hernandez is congratulating student Raul Mendez for completing the 3-month course. Raul was a Toholabal Indian, but understood enough Celtal and Spanish to profit from the course. He continued his education at the Chiapas Seminary and became the first Toholabal ordained minister. Volleyball provided a nice break during the day of study. Graduation day always included games and food. She is definitely a winner at ring toss. Then their mothers take their turn. The young boys have a 4-legged race and a treasure hunt for coins in the sawdust. 2 teams of women compete in a relay race with brooms and basketballs. The toss of water-filled balloons was a favorite game for the men. As the distance increased, so did the possibility of getting wet. And then there were the sack races. The return was an exciting race to the finish line. The shoe kick was also a good challenge. Then it was time for the students and their families to return home. We drove these families to the highway to catch their buses. They were now ready to continue their lives and ministry in their home areas. We needed a garage for our vehicles and chose this location for it. We had 2 young men from Hope College and Jim Henneveld to put up the building. However, this building did not serve long as a garage. Instead, it became a women's classroom building and a recording studio and for cassette production. We began recording music at our recording room, and this quartet arrived from Tenihapa to record their songs. They and other groups provided music for a cassette tape ministry and a radio program. We duplicated cassettes which had messages and music for evangelism. Martina and Rosa were blessed with the birth of 3 boys to add to their daughter Margarita. The growth of Martina and Rosa's family necessitated the construction of a more adequate house for them. Rosa grew these gourds and boiled and cleaned them to provide containers for tortillas for the students' homes. While at Buenos Aires, bricklayer Manuel Pinto built an oven. Rosa taught the students' wives how to bake bread in it. We offered short courses in Christian education and music for young men, and a similar course for young women. The variety in their garb shows that they came from all the areas of the tribe. They learned how to use flannel graph for Sunday school classes. Margarita assisted in teaching them knitting. A month of study was offered yearly to the Celtal ministers and their families. It was a fruitful time of good fellowship. When we began classes at the ranch, we had no idea that we would so quickly have a room full of ordained ministers to teach. Meanwhile, their wives were becoming personal friends in their classes. The children of the students also enjoyed their classes and activities in the ranch house. When the medical work became more than Dorothy and Helen could handle, Dionisio Lopez came from Corralito to be the paramedic. The original grass-roofed schoolhouse became their home. Manuel Pinto of Las Margaritas came to build a medical building. We quickly put a roof on it. They put a plaster layer on the brick walls, and then a finishing coat of lime. So Dionisio had a professional-looking building to work in, and 2 more children in the family. Later, the medical building was changed into a literature center. I had a desk there, and at this time I was writing a textbook in Celtal on church history. The Literature Center accumulated a wide variety of literature produced by us missionaries. Pedro Santis learned how to run the mimeograph machine and how to collate and staple the booklets. This is Book 2 of the Church History series. We made 400 copies for the students of the Extension program. We ended up with 15 textbooks for the Extension program, 3 booklets a year for 5 years. Our farming began Indian style, with Martin cutting the bushes at the edge of the river with a machete. And with the students, they cleared what previously had been a cornfield. Later we tried plowing that ground with the Jeep. It wasn't ideal, but it worked. Martin was eager to take his turn at the plow. It was an improvement, but we needed a tractor. We were able to purchase a bush cutter that connected to the power takeoff of the Jeep. The corn grew tall and healthy. Then John Burama came from Iowa to help us with the agriculture. We purchased a small John Deere tractor, and John used it to pull down some pine trees to expand the corn field at the river. Then, with a subsoiler, he pulled out small stumps in preparation for plowing. With a disc, he cut up the heavy sod. John called these men his 20-row planter. They planted 1 seed at a time in the rows, and it became a cornfield. The results were encouraging as the students harvested the corn in the fall. There was even some color in some of the corn. We also had good success in growing sweet potatoes. Bill and Marge Vanderpool arrived at the Buenos Aires ranch with their pickup and Airstream trailer. They had met the Meyerings in California and asked if we needed help. They were eager to give it. Bill exchanged the tractor for a bigger size, one that could handle much better the plow and disc. The larger tractor was an improvement. Bill turned the large meadow into farmland, which was quite an extensive project. It was quite successful. Bill and Domingo Gomez, our new administrator, were pleased with the results. We now had food for our students and staff. At the river, Bill planted beans, and the congregation eagerly participated in the harvest, taking home half of what they picked. Martin shelled the other half of the beans and put them out to dry. They would be enjoyed by the students and their families.